Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Business End Podcast. I'm your host, Lawrence Stanley. Alongside me, as ever, the Fantastic Four, Liam Hale, Jake Alvarez, Rowan Lee, Matt Daly, and of course, Drake Roger in the producing booth doing his thing. He's sleepy today, so we got to make sure that he stays on it.
So is Matt.
Yeah, we gotta make sure we keep these guys on their toes.
How are you, Loz?
Oh,
Are you all right?
I'm pretty good. Yeah, thanks for asking.
That's okay.
Yeah.
I thought I'd check up on you.
I'm surprised by that. I wasn't expecting anyone to ask.
Yeah,
Guy share the host a bit of love.
I'm in a good mood.
Oh, thank you.
Happy mood.
Well, I hope you guys are well as well. Well, let's get on with it. We're rambling. We've lost too much time already. Well, I thought we might as well review the Premier League action that we previewed, as we usually do on a Friday and Tuesday. Starting with, we'll go in chronological order. So the Saturday lunchtime game, which Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wasn't too happy with in terms of it being at that time. Everton 1, Manchester United 3. Liam, the Manchester United fan, the loyal Manchester United fan, you must be very happy.
The third podcast and we've won. Woo! Yeah. It was a good game. Bruno played well. I think that was the only highlight of the game, to be honest. If we didn't have Bruno, we would have been.
I had Bruno in my FPL team, so I was buzzing with his 2 goals and assists.
Oh, and Cavani scored his first goal for the club.
Good goal, to be fair, as well, isn't it?
First of many, hopefully.
Hopefully. That's if he plays. Did he? I didn't actually see the game, to be fair. Did he come off the bench or did he actually start the game?
He came off the bench.
Did he?
Yeah.
Oh, fair enough.
I mean, all I really cared about in that game was my sweet FPL points, so happy with that.
Nah, Bruno played incredible.
He's a good player.
Played
2
really
goals
well.
and an assist, to be fair to him.
Yeah.
In terms of Solskjaer, though, obviously on Friday he was talking about him maybe getting the sack if he doesn't win this game, and all of a sudden, I thought it was quite interesting after the game when he talked about the fixture scheduling. Do you feel like that was a tactic to try and put people off talking about his future rather than, obviously it got people talking about the fixture scheduling, which a lot of managers have been moaning about, instead of his future?
Well, there's this meme on Twitter, like, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer seems to just magically turn into Sir Alex Ferguson whenever he needs a result. Like, whenever he's on the verge of being sacked, he just somehow pulls out this like great performance and great win. I don't know what you guys think about that.
I still think he's not home and dry though. I wouldn't say he is. I mean, let's face it. If you lose your next game or draw your next game, he's back in the firing line again.
Oh yeah, if we don't get a consistently good run of games, like good results, like every draw or loss, it's like, oh, here we go again.
Yeah,
Ole might be sacked.
That's kind of what I'm talking about though. Like, he just seems to just kind of get out the sticky patches. Like, just kind of pick up a win when he needs to, just to keeping his job.
He's had more lives than a cat, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's been in the mire so many times and he grabs 2 or 3 results in a row.
Exactly.
And everything seems rosy and then he goes back to...
Do you guys think Luke Shaw being injured for a month is going to be a big blow for United or not?
You got Alex Tellez, haven't you?
Tellez wasn't in the matchday squad though against Everton.
Because he had coronavirus.
Oh, so he might be out. It's the international break, isn't it? So he's fine. Yeah.
Yeah. We got Alex Tellez to cover.
It's not cover though, is it?
I don't think
Tellez is a much better defender.
I was going to say he won't be a
attacker.
massive miss. I wouldn't have thought.
No.
I mean, Tellez is certainly faster than him. I think. Isn't he?
Would you say that Luke Shaw would fit in, like a side like Leicester or Villa? No. What do you think's his level then?
I wouldn't have him at Villa over Target.
Really?
You think Matt Target's better? Is that your heart saying that or your head saying that?
Matt Target's had a very good start to the season, I'll tell you that. His delivery is outstanding at times. If you watched his delivery on Sunday for his assist against Arsenal, I'd actually have him ahead of Luke Shaw. So maybe that's just me not rating Luke Shaw, but...
Yeah, you said, where do I think Luke Shaw would fit in? I don't really know. I don't think he's a Premier League... Well, he's obviously a Premier League quality left back, but I wouldn't say he's anywhere near the top half Premier League.
So, I mean, he's not Lucas Digne. Take Lucas Digne out of that Everton squad. Do you think he'd fit in the Everton team?
Yeah, he's good enough. Yeah, he's good enough to be a backup to Lucas Digne.
No, I mean, like, do you think he'd be good enough to start for Everton if Digne didn't exist?
If Digne didn't exist, probably.
Well, yeah, if he was the only option,
I think he'd fit into that
would
Everton team.
If Digne didn't exist, then I think the go for someone.
Yeah, they'd
from,
obviously
like,
buy
Leon
someone
or
else.
Marseille or...
Amarvi, as
Yeah.
Jake said, it's a very good left back.
In terms of Everton, what's that? 2-3 losses in a row now.
Yeah,
Three losses in a row.
losses.
It's just not going too well anymore, is it? That start to the season has definitely stuttered. That's for sure.
I'm surprised that people on TalkSport, on BBC Sport, are saying Ancelotti needs to be sacked. Because let's be honest, people are saying that he needs to be sacked from. It's obviously reactionary, but the fact that they had a good start to the season, but it was 4 matches, wasn't it? Then they drew to Liverpool in unbelievable circumstances. Yep.
Very controversial game, that.
I think what we're seeing with that is how important having good squad is. Everton had a few injuries, a couple of players out, Richarlison being the big one, and then they sort of crumble. I think, how important do you guys think having a deep squad will be in this kind of more congested Premier League season?
Oh yeah, massively. I mean, like you said, Everton, they were missing Richarlison, for example. And
I don't think James was playing, was he?
No, James still out.
James was out as well. What they haven't got is they haven't got a good bench. I don't think really. Have they?
No.
They've got a decent starting 11, but their bench is like just.
Iwobi,
It's like who'd you bring on?
Well,
James did play, guys.
he did play.
Yeah.
Did
oh,
well, he must have not played very well.
yeah.
Then.
So Everton's bench, Yerry Mina, Cenk Tosun is still there. Alex Iwobi, Andre Gomez, Ben Godfrey, Tom Davies, and Olsen, the goalkeeper.
How many of those players
It's
would you
not-
bank
it's not
on to
strong
kind of
bench,
change
though.
your game?
I think Andre Gomez is good enough to run a midfield.
Out of
on this
all of
day.
them, Andre Gomez is the best player.
In terms of being able to change your game.
Yeah, well, he's the most skillful, I think. Yeah.
Remember when Tom Davis broke through into the Everton squad there? I was thinking he was going to be quality.
Yeah. Well, we don't see him anymore, really.
Yeah,
do
like,
we?
what happened to him?
Just to beat James
Well,
Prize.
People will just realise how good he actually is as a player. That's not very good.
Well, that was a Saturday lunchtime game.
But yeah, to be fair, sorry to answer your question though.
Oh no,
Ross,
sure.
They do need. You do need a deep squad. You do need squad depth
It's going to be
because
very important. this season.
otherwise you got no chance to win the league. No chance.
Leicester against Wolves. Look, we'll get on to VAR and the handball rule and all that. I know it was a big talking point in that match, but Leicester, another win against always a tough game against Wolves these days. I'll come to you, Matt.
Well,
How high are their chances of top 4, maybe even the title, dare I say?
Leicester.
Yeah.
Or Wolves. Well, Leicester versus Wolves is the top 4 contenders, really, isn't it? To
Yeah.
break into the top 4. I wouldn't say either of them are title contenders at all. They're pretty decent as teams. I think Leicester will definitely get top 4 this season. Wolves will be fighting for the Europa League again.
Are Wolves as good as people think? And,
Well,
Yeah, I rate them.
if Aston Villa were good as you think, they'd be winning the World Cup every year. But Wolves are a very good team. Jimenez is very good. Podense is very good. Pedro
Neves.
Neves, I think because people like him as a player, he's getting a much bigger profile than he actually deserves.
for me, with Wolves, have they got enough of a goal threat with Jota gone?
Yeah,
Like,
definitely. Of course
if
they
you
have.
look at their,
What do you mean?
Of course they have.
if you
They've
look at
got,
their XG in the first half, though, they had an XG of 0.001 or 0.01.
That's one game, and they're playing against Leicester, who are a class opponent.
That's 45 minutes of a football match, though, isn't it? One half.
I wouldn't read so much into that. They've still got firepower up front going forward.
Can one of you kind of get up how many goals Wolves have scored this season?
Yeah, but Wolves
How
have
many
got
good Wolves?
Wolves have got Raul Jimenez, Adama Traore.
Adama Traore didn't start, though.
But
I
he's still-
rate
he's still a
Podense
threat.
a
He
lot.
still comes on and
Podense is an excellent player in my opinion,
Who's that?
but Podense.
Yeah.
Pedro Neto as well is
Mhm.
very good enough coming player.
I
Is
mean,
that maybe I'm being a bit too harsh? Is it kind of more so Nuno's defensive tactics than anything, or
I think personally, going on
I
this
don't
game.
think they have scored many goals.
Well,
this season.
going on the game the other day against Leicester, I think really it was just the fact that they were up against a brilliant Leicester team who were in brilliant form. I think if they were up against anyone, I mean, at the end of the day, we all know with Wolves, we've seen it over the recent years now. You can never rule them out. They're a top side,
and
really.
the
They
stats
are.
say Wolves score a goal a game.
They scored a goal
So they
again,
scored
so
8 goals this season.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not good enough, is it?
As we were saying earlier with
That's 38 goals over a season.
with
not
the
good
Everton
enough.
squad depth, if Jimenez gets injured, it's that young Rafa Silva up front, isn't it, from Portugal?
Yeah.
I mean,
He's very unproven.
my knowledge of him is he was a very good youngster at Porto? Did he come from
Porto, yeah.
Come from Porto.
Didn't
and
score many goals though, did
He had a high profile.
I know he's only young, but
And on Football Manager, he had a big profile. You know, everyone rated him on that. And they're good at judging talent.
Do you think managers actually do that sometimes? Just look at a player on Football Manager and just go,
Yeah,
he's got
didn't-
good potential.
Imagine if they did.
Didn't you see on Amazon Prime, Mourinho had Football Manager on his tab, on his
Yeah,
map?
I know it'd be.
I don't think it was. I don't think he searched up. I don't know, Ndombele on Football Manager.
I wonder if he plays Dele Alli on there.
Hey, he's probably sold him to Dorking Wanderers. Let's be honest. He's probably just got rid of him on the game, just deleted him as a player.
Yeah.
I remember people were asking this question last year, but just to wrap up this one, is this Leicester team better than the one last season, and which would make it better than the one that won the title? Because people were saying that the team last season was the better team that won the title.
So is your question, is this Leicester team better than the team that won the title?
Well, yes, but depending on your opinion, did you think the one last season was better than the one that won the title?
Yes.
I think it's a difficult one to answer because that Leicester title winning team had something that a lot of teams don't, which is unbelievable momentum, unbelievable fight, and it kind of just worked, didn't it? I don't know how it worked, but it just did.
Yeah, but they also had Wes Morgan and Robert Oof at the back.
That's what I mean. It just somehow kind of just came together, didn't it?
I mean, even at the moment, Leicester have got unfulfilled potential in their team as well as so many injury problems. Because if you look at the defence against Wolves, Fofana, Evans, Fuchs and Justin.
I just don't think you can call a team that has won a league title worse than a team that finished 5th last season.
Wesley Fofana has had a cracking start to Leicester, though.
Yeah,
hasn't
he's
he?
been brilliant. Yeah. I mean, he's. I mean, how much did he come in for?
32 million.
It was like
it was
and everyone's sort of like, oh my, wow,
Decent
like,
chunk.
You know,
Yeah.
a lot, like a fair bit of money to his unknown
I
player.
looked
Comes
at-
in and he obviously Soyuncu's out with an injury
Yeah.
now, and he comes in and he's like, just sort of playing amazing. It's
Yeah,
sort
I'm
of
not
when
gonna lie,
Soyuncu comes back,
like-
will he keep him out of the squad?
Well,
Or what?
to be fair, you did just answer ask the question I was going to ask. Who would you start when Soyuncu's fit?
Ooh. I think I'd still go with Soyuncu because he is proven.
With
Can
who?
you not
With
play
who?
all
With who
three?
though? Next.
Yeah,
one.
well,
Can you not go 5 at the back and play all 3?
last season they
Mm.
did end the season playing 5 at the back.
Can you not have Fofana on the right, Evans central, and then Soyuncu on the left?
Well, yeah, you could do. Yeah, I mean, whether you want to play that, I mean, it depends who you're playing against, really.
Well, another good win for Leicester then.
Yeah.
Our penultimate match of this little review was the big one. Manchester City won, Liverpool won. I wasn't too surprised that it was a draw, if I'm being honest. Did we get the best game, though? I'm going to come to you, Rowan. Did we get the best match possible? I know there's no Van Dijk, no Thiago, but did we still get the best match possible?
I think we
In
all
the first
saw,
half?
In the first half, yeah, definitely. I mean, I think we all saw two teams that are just brilliant. To be honest with you, I mean, they're two world-class teams really going head to head. I mean, this was incredible. The first half was I feel as though in the first half, like the first 20 minutes, say, I think Liverpool were just amazing going forward. And then after that, obviously Liverpool got the pen. And then after that, City then came into the game. I think the first half was very 50-50. But yeah, to answer your question, I think it was probably the best 45 minutes two teams we've seen so far anyway.
It's very much that typical cliche of the game of two halves, isn't it? But not really in terms of the way it's generally used, in terms of like the actual quality of the game itself. The first half was very much about intensity, both teams just going for it. The second half was very much more of the tactical battle and like a battle of wits between Klopp and Guardiola, and they almost cancelled each other out in the second half.
Yeah, they did. The second half was nowhere near as good as the first half, was it?
I seen a stat on Sky Sports when the game was on,
Yeah.
and who is the only manager to consistently beat Pep? Klopp's beaten him more than any other manager.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
He's got something over him, hasn't he?
It's a very important point for Liverpool. If they look at the back at the end of the season and they think, if they went and lost on Sunday, they would have been thinking that was a massive chance missed.
Yeah.
If Liverpool win the league, they'll look at that game away at the Etihad, that's more of a point won than
2
points lost.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
like you said, Matt, it's a better result for Liverpool than it is for Man City, definitely.
When what was it? 2 or 3 years ago when Liverpool travelled to Man City in the game that basically decided the title, and Man City won 2-1.
Yeah.
Even if Liverpool drew that, I think Liverpool won the league on goal difference, was it?
And then you had that in that game. You had this stone clearance off the line that was about a millimetre away from going in.
If you're going to look at a team's most crucial game of the season, Man City away is probably the biggest one.
Yeah, and if you can get anything out of that game, then you're on your way, really.
I'm gonna ask a question to Loz first. Loz, do you
to
think?
me.
Yeah. Do you think Pep's passed it?
Do I think? Well, he's still going strong. You know, he's spent a lot of money. That's for sure. But what do you mean in terms of like at Man City or just in general?
Both. Is he gone at Man City and is he gone as
No,
Pep?
he could still win titles wherever he goes.
So
Where's
it going wrong for Man City then?
Oh well, has it gone wrong? They have a game in hand. Let's remember that.
Yeah, but I see a lot of questions. People asking, "Is Pep past it now? Is Pep still a dominant manager?"
Well,
yeah, of course he is.
I'm sure there
gotta
were
be
one or
in
two
it.
murmurs about that when Liverpool lost 7-2 against Aston Villa. Is this Liverpool team? Is it the beginning of the end? So I feel like people have short memories in football and sport in general, and Pep Guardiola is still one of the best managers in the world. And this is a season like no other. You know, so if you're going to choose one season where you're going to have a bit of a up and down kind of year, then this is that year, is it not? This is why I'm the host, by the way, because you really put me on the spot then. So I'm going to go to Matt instead.
We're in Guardiola's 5th season now at Man City. He's never been at a club for longer than 4. We're seeing how there's gaps developing. He's bought how many defenders whilst at Man City? We might finally have cracked the
Too many.
combination.
Yeah.
And he's only had to pay, what, £50 million on 5 different defenders?
Yeah. That Diaz and Laporte combination looks very good, doesn't it?
It does look very strong, yeah. It does.
But for the money it cost, it has to look strong.
It's got to be.
Yeah.
Well,
I think the strength of the Premier League, though, to be fair, you can't really say he's a. Yeah, sorry, lost gone.
Poor old
no,
man's
it's
trying
fine.
to,
I'm just trying to direct the
Sorry, what do you want to
conversation.
say?
Yeah, because we've got to show. Well, I can't believe I'm going to say this, but we do have to show Aston Villa some respect. Let's say I'm not going to say love.
Right, I'm going to go. All right,
where I come in.
Well, I was going to go round the table for each match, so yeah, you are next. Coincidentally, a 3-0 win for Aston Villa away at Arsenal. I mean, I wasn't even that surprised that Arsenal lost. Not that they lost 3-0, but I wasn't even surprised that they lost because it's just one of them. Like, Arsenal kind of have a tendency to lose these kind of matches. I'm starting with Jake. I'm afraid. I'll come to you soon, Ian, don't worry. I'm sure you have a lot to say.
I just want to repeat what Ian Wright said on Match of the Day. I think it was something like, if Villa were a person, there'd be John Travolta in Saturday Night Fever. And that's a very good point from Wrighty there. And yeah,
Can you develop that point?
Yeah,
please?
I don't know
'Cause
what that's like.
I'll be honest. That's like saying if he was a singer, he'd be Ed Sheeran in Galway Girl. I don't know what that means.
I think it means that Villa had charisma in a football sense. We played with freedom.
It doesn't
we
mean
played
anything.
great.
Yeah, why Saturday Night Fever? He had charisma in Greece.
I don't know,
Yeah.
ask Ian Wright that, not me.
Ian Wright, if
said.
you are listening,
Yeah.
please can you expand on what you meant by that? Thank you.
Yeah, and your fans coming on, by the way. We'd love to have you on.
Like, this is Ian Wright saying this, not me.
Yeah,
Street,
to be fair, I think Aston Villa are playing like. I'm trying to think of another actor now. I'm put on the spot.
Leonardo DiCaprio.
Leonardo DiCaprio in Titanic.
Yeah.
A dying performance in the end.
That's Sheffield United at the moment.
That
Isn't
was for Nike Wild's penalty against.
That's
I
old
can't
news,
even
man.
remember who it was.
That's just old news.
So it's all about Adamola Lookman now.
Yeah.
Can we get back to the Villa, please?
Fine.
Yeah.
I just thought that was a game where we just kind of showed our quality on the counter attack. Like, you had Grealish and Barkley linking up superbly, Watkins showing how good a finisher he is. Like, expanding on Watkins, it was more so his hold-up play than anything that I was so impressed with. Like, there's some touches in that game. He's world class. Like,
His link-up play last season with the other two up front with Brentford was excellent.
yeah, like the touch that lad has is exceptional.
I was just very surprised that a manager I personally rate really high in Arteta got it so wrong tactically. That's what cost Arsenal the game.
He took full blame as well, didn't he?
He did, and rightfully
Yeah.
so.
How much of that is Arteta getting it wrong and Smith just getting it right? Like,
That's a bit of both,
you need to
isn't
give
it?
Smith credit, don't you?
You do need to give Smith credit, but when a manager comes out personally and says that he was at fault for a result, you can definitely say that it's leaning more one side to a manager getting it wrong than getting it right.
Like, we're looking at a team that counter-attacked the English champions and put 7 past them, and he still chose to go at them. That's how he got it tactically wrong.
Yeah, I get that.
To be fair,
but-
Leeds went up at Villa and they won 3-0.
I don't
what
think-
Villa did well was we pressed Arsenal high up the pitch and forced them into mistakes and kind of stopped them from playing almost.
But then, as an Arteta, because obviously he was Pep's assistant, wasn't he? As an Arteta, tried at Arsenal to get that pass in from the back since he'd come in. So why against Villa was it a sudden surprise they would be impressed?
I think he probably underestimated them. And
No, 100% he did.
To be honest with you, I can't see how you can underestimate them because they beat Liverpool. What was it, 7-2? The thing is, though, is it?
He knows.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I'm trying to forget it. To be honest with you, but I'm going to ask you, Jake. Is it that Villa somehow played better against the so-called, I don't know, Big Six teams, say, compared to the smaller clubs? No disrespect to them, but
The Leeds and Southampton.
exactly. Yeah. It's like what is going on with that? Really,
I think it's more so. I mean, don't forget Southampton 4th in the league. Leeds got a good point against Man City. Leeds played very well against Liverpool. Like those are not.
But they're not. Sides. Yeah, but they're not like the. We all know, don't we? Like they're not like the top 6.
It's 8 games into the season.
They're not like
fourth
the so-called decent. Big 6 teams, are they? Like, don't get me wrong. They're brilliant clubs. They are big clubs in their own right, but they're not like.
They're not your traditional top 6.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's why I'm just sort of wondering because they have played well against the top teams this season, and then when they come up against the sort of lower teams, they haven't performed as well.
I'd say it's a mixture of the style of play that Southampton Leeds have. Like they like to press high, they have high intensity, they work harder than anyone else in the league. Like so, what they did so well against Villa is they pressed us high, so we couldn't really play out like from the back like we wanted to.
Okay. Yeah, but you beat Leicester, who are known for pressing high. Like Vardy's the best pressing forward in the league.
Leicester were without Vardy that day, so I think that came into it. Leicester had Iheanacho playing the whole game. But
Iheanacho still presses. Okay, he's not as good as Vardy, but Brendan still gets the forward to press.
I just don't think Leicester were at it that day, to be honest.
I mean, that's fair. That's a fair point.
Yeah.
All right. Well, it was another great weekend, wasn't it? It's just been a crazy season so far, isn't it? There's always a lot to talk about, but we must move on. We're going to move it up north to the mighty country of Scotland. I know their national team has a big game on Thursday, but we're going to talk about the SPL in general. In Rangers, who are 9 points clear of Celtic, albeit Celtic have 2 games in hand. Unbeaten, though. Thank you, Liam, for putting the table in front of me. And I'll start with you. Steven Gerrard, he's doing a great job, isn't he?
He's doing a
8-0
fantastic job. And
Could they win it?
Honestly, I would love to see Rangers win it, 100%. And it's just the players he's brought in. Like, obviously, he come from straight into Rangers, first job in football. He's brought in Jermaine Defoe, who, yes, was passed in the Premier League. And he's tearing up Scotland. Kamal Roof left Oxford and went to Anderlecht. He was okay. He's come to Rangers. He's been a totally different player. Do you see his goal in the Europa League?
Yeah. Saw the fallout as well. They weren't happy, were they? Who was it?
They were.
This is embarrassing. I can't remember the
Standard
team.
Liège.
Standard Liège, yeah.
And
they were good team as well, Standard Liège, to be fair.
And I just feel like
they're not a
they're not.
team.
And I feel like this is the year Rangers are either gonna do it, and if it's not now, it's never.
Yeah, I
agree, bit like
yeah.
Liverpool, maybe.
Yeah.
How poetic that Steven Gerrard is there.
I know.
How many points clear are they at the top at the moment?
9 with 2 games in hand. As in Celtic got 2 games.
As in, yeah, Celtic got 2 games.
They're unbeaten so far as well.
Yeah.
This season.
Is it a case of Rangers improving or Celtic regressing, or a bit of both?
I think it's a bit of both.
Bit of both. It's definitely a bit of both. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I mean, obviously there's been a lot of talk with the Neil Lennon situation. Like a lot of fans wanted him out. A lot of fans actually backing him. I don't know what you guys think, but I think they've done well with him before though. So I don't think it is Neil Lennon who's the problem. To be honest with you, I wonder whether it's some of the players maybe.
Have you seen the rumours of linking Eddie Howe to Celtic? I wonder what you guys think of that.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see.
I think if Eddie Howe went to Celtic, if he went, I think he'd have almost a similar effect as Brendan did. Brendan went, and we all thought, this is it, he'll miss a Brendan. He went there, let's be honest, he absolutely tore it up.
Yeah.
And then went to Leicester, and he's doing a really good job at Leicester. So I feel like key to Brendan's management was he had that club where he was used to it, and I think he's almost got that taste for it now. So at Leicester, he's going to push on, and Eddie's a great manager. Yes, he got relegated with Bournemouth, but the quality of the manager's still there. And I feel like if he went to somewhere like Celtic, where it's easy trophy, well, not now, but it would have been easy trophies for him.
It would have been. Yeah.
I think that'll push him on to the next level.
I think it's a bit different from when Brendan Rodgers was in charge at Celtic.
Yeah, I was going to ask that.
Rangers wasn't.
Yeah.
Rangers weren't the team. They weren't settled. They didn't have Gerrard. Well, for the last season, they were just coming up. They had Pedro Chagina as their manager, wasn't it?
Oh man.
Yeah.
So you
wow.
So there was obviously a different. They won 9 league titles in a row. Celtic. They've had a really. I won't even say poor start to the season. They lost to Rangers and they drew to Aberdeen, who are probably the 2 closest title rivals. If any other country was like, you know what, if we only got 1 point out of 6 from games against our 2 rivals, oh well, we can turn it around. But in Celtic's way of they've just win it every year, it is massive for them.
Can I just say as well, Rangers, since they went bust, they've done a great job of coming back from what did they go, Scottish League?
Fourth division.
Fourth, was it fourth? Going from there and coming back to battling with Celtic. That just shows how much.
Well, I mean, it was inevitable that was happening because they are the biggest team in Scotland.
You look at but you look at Celtic's goal difference. It's way less than Rangers.
The Rangers did just win 8-0 against Hamilton.
I know, but the thing is, Rangers. It looks like on here anyway. Rangers can find the goal. They've got people who can score goals, whereas Celtic are sort of struggling.
So I've got Lee Griffiths just coming back to proper form.
Celtic just seem to sort of be struggling to find the back of the net. I mean, I know they're winning games, but they're not scoring as many goals. It could be one of those seasons where it comes down to goal difference, maybe.
But I just think Rangers have like proper goal scorers now. They've got Kemal Roof, they've got Jermaine Defoe, who's still banging them in. They've got Morelos.
He's a quality striker.
I know it was a few weeks ago, but during the Old Firm, I don't think Celtic had a shot on target in the whole game. I think it's a bit. The whole team just needs. They haven't been challenged for. They haven't been challenged for 9 years. Celtic, have they? They need new players to come in and just reshake it.
They've kind of had like plain sailing, haven't they, without Rangers challenging them. I know they have. They're kind of like, whoa, what's this?
Yeah, they didn't know what to do with it.
I know people joke about it being like a farmers' league, but it is literally the same as like Serbia.
Yeah, I was gonna. I was gonna ask about that. Do we think that the standard of Scottish football is improving? Because I know there's talks about them maybe getting that first automatic Champions League qualifying slot, which I think if you win the title in Scotland, you qualify for the first qualifying round of the Champions League. Which
I'm pretty sure that's the same as in Macedonia.
I mean that is a bit harsh, isn't it?
But then again, you look at it, and there's only 12 teams in the league, is there? Is it 12 or 13 teams in the league? 12
in the SPL.
I mean,
but back to my original question, is it getting better, the standard of football?
No,
because they've been unlucky, haven't they, with the money? There's nowhere near.
I don't think it's changed, to be honest with you.
Really?
Well, there's a reason Jermaine Defoe's gone there and tore it up.
Yeah, but the Europa League last season, Rangers getting to the last 16.
That's the last 16, though. Premier League club like Leicester would.
Yeah, but does it? But like I say, if you finish first in Scotland, you qualify. There's only one slot, and then if you finish second and third, you go to the first qualifying round of the Europa League. Is that not a bit harsh, considering how they've performed in recent years? Jake,
I think there's a big gap I think there always has been a big gap between Rangers and Celtic and the rest of the league. I think you've obviously got Rangers improving. Celtic kind of stayed the same. But then the rest of the league, it's kind of just... I don't know. How would you feel if you're a team in Scotland knowing you got no chance to win the league?
Well, I don't know. I mean, to be fair, Aberdeen and Hibs are, I know they're not as good as Rangers and Celtic, but they're, Aberdeen are, on 26 points in third behind
Would you
Celtic.
put a bet on Aberdeen winning the league this year? Then?
Well, no, I wouldn't.
I think it was 2003 was the last time that
they've got
a
decent-
non-Old Firm team won the league, and that was Hearts. That's how dominant those two teams have been, especially Celtic.
They're not even in the Prem, are they, anymore?
Hearts.
Did they get relegated?
I think they're in the second division.
Yeah, I think they got relegated. I haven't got them. Yeah.
I mean, I think it's certainly come a long way. I don't know if you remember Adam Rooney went from Aberdeen to Salford, was it? I think that was a low moment for Scottish football to go from a team who finished third in the Scottish Premiership to the National League.
I mean, one of the league's best players in Scott Sinclair went to Preston to sit on the bench. That's where the level is.
That sort of answers your question, does it?
Yeah.
well, in terms of Rangers, okay, back to the original point. In terms of Rangers winning the league, I'll go around the room. Do we think they'll do it? Starting with you, Liam.
Rangers win the league?
Yeah.
Yes.
No.
Yeah, definitely. I pray.
Yeah, I don't see why not. They've got a good team.
I'm going to kind of sit on the fence. If Celtic change the manager and bring Eddie Howe in, then Celtic will win the league. If they don't, then Rangers will. So kind of a bit on the fence. But...
A bit on the fence.
I feel like we should make that a rule. I feel like we should make that a rule.
No,
if you
can't sit on the fence.
No, if you do sit on the fence, you have to go in depth into why you're sitting on the fence.
Yeah.
So you are essentially making a prediction there.
Well, it's easier to call the Scottish Premier League than the English Premier League. Who's going to win it? There's two options in the Scottish Premier League.
Yeah.
Is it Celtic or Rangers every year?
Yeah, I just liked how specific the answer was. If it's Eddie Howe, or if they do sack Neil Lennon and don't bring in Eddie Howe, they bring in someone else. Do they not win it?
Eddie Howe is obviously the big favourite for the job if Neil Lennon goes.
If they brought in Nigel Pearson, would they win it?
No.
Well, there you go. And just quickly then, again, one word answer: should Scotland be given an automatic Champions League spot?
No.
Yes, they should. Yeah.
Absolutely not.
How many more? Okay, just finally, how many more seasons do they have to perform well in Europe?
Well, they haven't performed well in Europe since 2011.
But there's only two teams though.
No, teams go into the qualification. Aberdeen got knocked out by Burnley.
Yeah, I suppose it's only fair, isn't it?
Well,
I mean,
they go into the qualification. They haven't performed. Rangers got to round of 16, and that was the best the team's done equally since what? They got to the final in 2004.
Okay, well, we'll see. Yeah, it's interesting. I think one thing's for sure: the Scottish Premiership title race is interesting this season, and we haven't always said that. That's for sure. Next, it's time to talk about that subject. Good old VAR. I mean, it was just it felt like a regression of that weekend where all the handballs were being given, and now it's just going to come back to bite us all. We'll start with the two major decisions. Max Kilman, who we had the pleasure of actually talking to a few weeks ago, didn't we?
Yeah.
He's a great guy.
Yeah.
Great lad.
We wish him all the best, but he certainly didn't have a great weekend, that's for sure. But
A bit unlucky, to be fair.
yes, I think we can all agree he was unlucky. But I'll start with Jake. Is it right? Is the rule, the handball rule, right?
Absolutely not. Like, what can players do when you run? I think Jamie Carragher said a similar thing. When you run, you've got your hands naturally kind of out. That's kind of how people run. So if you're running, the ball hits your hand. What can you do? Like, I just don't get it.
But in the letter of the law, if it touches your hand in an unnatural position, it's a foul. But then again, what is a natural position?
That's what I mean.
Everyone has a different natural position.
It would be like, for example, Matty Cash's handball the other week.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a Stonewall handball.
Yeah.
Whereas, obviously, like, like you said, Max Kilman and then Joe Gomez, for example, the other day, both of them, in my opinion anyway, are 100% not a handball. Obviously going by the law, it is a handball, but it can't be, surely, Liam.
Like, what are defenders, as a defender myself, what are defenders supposed to do now? Are they supposed to defend with their hands behind their backs?
Exactly.
Well, foreign players have been doing that for years,
I
haven't
mean, the handball rule changes every year, so let's just hope the next year they've actually decided to make a decent rule.
I feel like the Champions League.
I wouldn't hold your breath, mate.
The Champions League gives us a glimpse of how bad it is around Europe as well. When you saw the decision in the Chelsea-Rennes match, I feel like that's what it's like in Serie A, and maybe not so much La Liga, but definitely Serie A. I think last season there was a ridiculous amount of penalties for handball. Yeah. Is it ruining the game?
I think it has the possibility, if it carries on, to ruin the game. I think one of the main things I want to see is the referee be able to speak through the mic and everyone can hear it, because if you can understand what the referee is saying or the process he's going through, it's much easier to understand if it's a handball or not, I think, for everyone to see.
Yeah, I agree with the kind of... It's almost the Australian way of doing it now, isn't it? Like, we've seen how they communicate with the refs in kind of clips that we've seen.
Yeah, it was Jared Gillett, I think, the Australian referee. That video where like you can hear him talking, and he referees in the Championship. I think he was referee in the Birmingham City Bournemouth match, and like I feel like it does help, doesn't it, when you can hear the referees, because it makes them human, doesn't it? You know,
brings a smile to your face, though, doesn't it, when you see that?
I thought it was interesting. I think it was in the Leicester Wolves match. Like, was it? You could see like Neil Swarbrick, the former referee in the Premier League. I think he works with referees now.
Oh, is it Peter Walton? Is it?
No. Like he actually works for the Premier League, and like there was like I feel like I think they cut to the VAR hub, and like I don't know whether there was like a disagreement going on, but like there was almost like he was looking at them saying like, you've made the wrong call there, or that's not what you should be doing. And I feel like it would just help if we just need more. The fans need to be helped out more, you know.
I agree. Yeah.
I'll go to Jake.
Like, I've had a season ticket like last season, and like the amount of goals that I didn't celebrate as much as I should have because of VAR, it's just a joke. Like when you're actually at games, like you don't want to celebrate because. Well, you do want to celebrate, but not as much as you should because of the threat of it being disallowed by VAR. Like, it just takes away the enjoyment of going to a football match.
I mean, it's hard to blame VAR. It's the referees, 100%. And I've seen two clips on social media. One was with Phil Dowd, I think it was, and he's talking to the linesman about giving a pen, and he says to the linesman, "I didn't see what happened, did you?" And he says, "No." And he goes, "Oh, fine, then I'll just give a pen."
Yeah.
There has to be some sort of talking from VAR to say, listen, go and have a look at the screen, talk to it yourself.
Yeah. No, I
See,
agree.
I think Jake saying doesn't celebrate goals as much as he normally does. With offsides, it's black and white. I don't like when on Soccer Saturday they're all like, how can they give this as offside? Is a toenail offside? That's still offside. It's black and white.
Like, it's ridiculous though, isn't it, to be fair?
But it's in the letter of the law. If he's past the last defender, he's offside, and that's illegal.
Well, they need to change the law then, because that's ridiculous.
How are you supposed to, as a striker, time you run that perfect that a toenail doesn't go offside?
Be a better striker.
But you're not an advantage. You're not gaining an advantage though over the defender if you're a toenail offside.
Well, you are
really?
because you're offside.
Well, a toenail is going to gain much of an advantage.
Can I put something out there? Maybe we could have something similar to the goal line technology rule for offside, whereas kind of say if you got your foot offside, right, your whole foot has to be offside for you to be called offside rather than.
Well, no, because you can score with a toenail. You can score with one toe.
I don't know.
I mean, VAR clearly works. They've done it in rugby for years. It works.
Yeah.
So why can't we get it to work in football?
Because the law hasn't been updated for VAR. That's why.
And we're too arrogant to realise that we need to change.
There's just so many variables in football, like.
But to be fair, you are right though, Matt. It is black and white. But the only thing is, it's ridiculous. Like, yeah, you are right. If it's toenail is offside, yeah, you're offside. But in my opinion, that's just ridiculous.
I think next season, it was either next season or this season, they brought in a 10mm leeway.
Yeah.
It's like, well, that it's still 10 millimeters offside. Like,
Yeah, but it's just
I think the question is how much foresight goes into the enjoyment of fans and how much foresight goes into a decision actually being right. So,
Yeah.
like, you gotta find a good balance.
it's
Yeah.
got to be clear and obvious as well, hasn't it?
I-
Remember, like clear and obvious thing. So a toenail isn't clear and obvious, is it?
My opinion would change if it went against Bristol City, but I would rather see a decision be called correctly than incorrectly for the fans.
Mm.
Yeah, that's a fair point. And I suppose it is about finding that balance between.
Because let's be honest, if a game was 3-1 and a team made it 4-1, but would the VAR give it offside? Because you know what? The game's done. The fans don't really care. They've won the match.
No, that's a fair point. I think the one thing I love is that you had people saying that it would stop debates and all that VAR, and here we are. We could talk about it for a while, but I think what they meant was like we're not talking about the game though, are we? We're not talking about like specific incidents that happen. Like this is like it doesn't feel right what we're debating though. So like they definitely need to fix it. Otherwise, like is there a chance that this will really turn fans away?
I don't think it'll turn fans away because they still love the game. But with VAR, we still have it. We have the screen. We have the referees in the what's Stockley Park, and refs still get decisions wrong, even with VAR.
It's the standard of refereeing, isn't
Yeah,
it?
it's just like I seen a thing that in cricket most umpires are former cricketers. So why don't we get some former footballers in as referees who know the rules of the game, know what it's like to actually be there on the pitch?
There is physical limitations being a referee because you do have to run.
What, but
Yeah,
professional
so-
footballers can't run?
No, but I'm saying if you look at professional umpires in cricket, they are all 20 years retired. If you're getting someone who's 20 years retired from football, you're minimum going to be 53 years old.
Yeah, but
But
there's
for some-
53 years
yeah.
old people running marathons and stuff.
Some
isn't there?
referees are like over 45.
Yeah. And and they're not. Let's be honest. they're
If you're
not
having
the
every
fittest, are
if
they?
you're having almost every referee being 55 plus, it's not going to work, is it?
But then I bet if like
Because
most,
it's also mental.
but some former footballers, if you say, I'll chuck you 30 grand to do soccer, they'll run around for 90 minutes then. Why can't they do it in a game where they're getting paid more?
Well, just a final question.
Yeah, it's a good point to be fair. Yeah.
The final question. Would that not complicate things though? If say you had Mo Salah retires, and becomes a referee, he could probably never referee a Liverpool match.
Yeah,
Well, no,
that is true,
referees aren't allowed to referee a game where a team is from where they're born.
Well,
Unless you're who's the bold guy.
well, it's Anthony Taylor, isn't he? He claims he's he's supposed to be from Altrincham, but
Referees from Man United, Liverpool.
Let's be fair. He like you said, he refereed a Liverpool Man United game, and he's from Altrincham, which is basically Manchester.
You're telling me that
what?
You're telling me referees don't support Premier League football teams?
Yeah, I
they
know.
most certainly do.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, if you have let's just say, I'm going to say Emre Can as an example. Even if he's played for Dortmund, Munich, Leverkusen, and Liverpool, he didn't want to join Liverpool. Sorry, he didn't want to join Man United because he loves Liverpool so much. What would happen? He's gonna have an agenda for many teams in the country.
Yeah.
It's all about being professional. So you're telling me if Rowan was on BT Sport doing a game, Liverpool conceded City, he's not going to start kicking off because Liverpool have conceded. He's going to stay professional and do it because he's getting paid.
Yeah.
Well, this certainly won't be the last. Sorry, you want to finish a point?
I was just saying, it's an interesting thing to think about.
Oh yeah, this won't be the last time that we talk about it. But I look forward to talking about it again because it gives us stuff to talk about which we need because there's always stuff to talk about on this podcast. But
The great thing about
I think
sport.
deep down we enjoy talking about VAR.
Oh yeah.
Like I do.
Imagine if we didn't have it now.
Oh yeah. See-
What would them to be talking about?
Well, yeah. Okay, just quickly because I have control. Because
Yeah.
I have control here. Look at the matches that don't have VAR and people moaning when decisions don't happen.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then where's VAR? Look, that's all I'm going to say.
As Championship fans, we understand that a
Careful
lot.
what you wish for.
Yeah.
Well, that's the football talk done. And now it's time to wrap up to other sports. Our roundup begins with the darts. Liam, the World Cup won by Wales.
Ooh.
Oh no, we can't do that. 'Cause
He's laughing.
we're welcoming to all cultures. And by the way, We just want to apologise if there was any offence caused to any Serbians out there listening to Liam's comment last episode. We welcome all cultures and countries on this podcast. And,
Besides Finnish people.
Finnish?
We've got the American in the
He's joking.
studio. I think he's asleep at the moment.
Yes,
but...
the producer is asleep. He's had a long day, and and now he has to listen to us talk about sport. Well, not esports, which is his specialty.
Real sports.
Oh.
Well, he's asleep, so you can get away with saying that. But anyway, no, we're not going to take the airtime away from you, Liam. We will talk about Wales and the World Cup win. Going Price, Johnny Clayton. And they were the best team won, didn't they?
I mean,
I was surprised that England got to the final.
we were favourites, but what makes it even sweeter was we beat England in the final,
Oh yeah,
and the sheer passion on Gerwyn Price's face was amazing.
didn't you say you didn't like him?
I don't, but if it's Wales versus England, I'm always going to cheer for the Welsh lad.
The look on Matt's face right now.
So you still don't like Going Price?
I mean, he's a good darts player, but I don't like him as a person.
If Gerwyn Price had a
Okay, fair
toupee, he'd look like the Welsh version of Donald Trump.
Wow.
He's orange, oiled up, and he wears tight shirts to show off his fake muscles.
I mean, I was shocked that Michael Smith and Rob Cross got the final. I think it should have been. I think Scotland should have done a lot better than they did.
Yeah, but it wasn't their strongest team, was it? No,
No,
Gary
it-
Anderson or Peter Wright.
It wasn't, and I'm surprised Van Gerwen didn't turn it on as much as he should have.
Yeah, but he has a back problem, doesn't he?
He does, but it's still Van Gerwen in it.
Yeah, but I suppose. But I mean, look, as a whole, the tournament, it's good fun, isn't it? The doubles format where you play, four players on the hockey. It's quite an interesting format, isn't it?
I like it. I like this. It brings. I look forward to the World Cup of darts, but I think it's because it's the only sport Wales are actually decent at.
Rugby?
I mean, did we win the Six Nations?
Yeah, but you can't say you're rubbish at rugby.
Well, you can.
We're not champions at it though, are we?
Oh, no, you're not. England are obviously,
Yeah,
the
exactly.
champions.
So it's just nice to have a year of some glory for once.
Yeah.
Shame there's no fans, though. Sorry.
Oh yeah, the darts. I think darts really has missed out on the fans.
No, they're all on the
fake.
farms.
Look, I don't know what you guys think about fake crowd noise, but when it comes to the
Oh,
darts,
at darts, you can't do that.
it's so forced.
Yeah, you can't do it.
It's terrible.
You
How can you have a fake man dressed as a piglet being drunk shouting random obscenities at people?
And that's the
It's
sad
impossible.
thing.
It's just banter, isn't it?
The World Championships is coming up in just over a month's time, and it's probably it is going to be held behind closed doors, and
Shame, isn't
that is going to be tough to watch.
Who's your favourite?
I would say Going Price.
I would say Gerwyn Price.
Even before the World Cup, he's
been on fire, hasn't he?
he's been incredible this year.
But is Van Gerwen's going? So Van Gerwen.
He's just going through a tough patch. I still think he'll be there at least quarterfinals.
Yeah, he is the greatest of.
Don't tell us we're running out of time. We want to keep on talking about the darts. Like I said, I'm in control here.
Don't mess with the lots.
No, we will move it on. Let's talk Formula One. Our correspondent at this point, Matt Daly. What have you got for us this week, pal?
Well, in the past 2 days, the Vietnam Grand Prix that was meant to be held this season has been taken off the calendar, so we're not going to be in Hanoi for a while. I'll be honest, I don't really remember why, because it wasn't a good enough reason. But Saudi Arabia has been added to the calendar, which has been released. It's now the penultimate race on the calendar, which has pushed Brazilian GP, which hasn't actually been fully confirmed, now down to third to last, which I don't like. It's the centrepiece for the majority of fans at Interlagos, and now it's just being ruined by just money deals in Formula One.
How do you think that affects does that affect certain drivers more than others? Or?
No, not really. I think if
think it's
Hamilton's
like
going to
that.
win anyway,
Yeah.
let's be honest.
I'm going to be honest. I don't really know what to ask. I
There
don't
wasn't
know.
much news for the Formula One this
don't
week.
know a whole lot about Formula. No, I would like to get into it. I just think I don't know what puts me off from watching it.
There's a lot of boring races.
It's just
Yeah.
the same track.
Yeah, is it like-
56 times? Is it 56 times or 52 times?
It
It
depends.
varies.
I don't really.
It's a lot.
I don't really. I mean, I watch it sometimes. But
How long does a race last?
A maximum 2.5 hours. They have a time limit for it, which normally goes to Singapore.
How much?
There you go.
How much overtaking is there?
It depends. It's tracks like Monaco, Sochi. There's barely any.
It's like a
but
death trap, isn't it? Monaco trying to
but
overtake them.
it obviously depends on different tracks. If it's a street circuit, there's not much. If there's long straights like there was at Portimao, there's going to be a lot.
So are there some tracks where you just look at it and think nothing's going to happen here?
Oh, not many fans unless you're Russian like Sochi. Catalonia is quite boring because of. I mean, Catalonia's a decent track until you get to the final chicane, and then it just slows everyone down. But then you also have places like Canada and Interlagos, where fans just love it.
So how long's left in the season?
There are 4 races left. 1 in Turkey, 2 in Bahrain, and 1 in Abu Dhabi.
And Lewis Hamilton is on top, I assume?
Yep.
Sorry,
Of course.
I apologise to all the F1 fans out there. I'm probably making a mockery of your sport.
Bottas fails to outscore Hamilton by 8 points on Sunday, Hamilton wins his 7th world title.
You know what? I just want to spend a minute asking, does anyone like golf?
Not really.
I don't like golf, but I was just going to quickly shout out the NBA for starting on December the 22nd. Can't wait. It's going to be brilliant.
I'm so happy that it's before Christmas.
Yeah.
I just... Because it was either that or like mid-January, wasn't it?
Yeah. I know. But they all agreed with it, so...
With the NBA, I feel like we should do a little Business End podcast special for the start of the NBA just to get Drake in.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
When he wakes up, that is.
All you NBA fans out there, tune in.
I'm going to be honest, I don't know. I think it's only Rowan that really knows, in terms of people in this room, knows.
I don't know everything about the NBA, but
I don't know a whole lot. Like, I've watched like
learning.
3 or 4 matches of the NBA, of basketball in my life. But next season.
Yeah.
I'm going to get into it next season.
Yeah, you can come watch it with me.
Yeah, I just thought that because the Masters is starting on Thursday, I feel like golf is an interesting one. I don't think it's a hard sport to follow. It's just about being in the minuses as much as possible.
I have to say I enjoy playing golf, but it just seems a bit too slow for me to follow. Like, it didn't really seem that entertaining to me, so I haven't really gave it much of a chance. Maybe I could with the Masters, but yeah, just my thoughts.
Yeah, because I'm a bit like that. Like, the thought of watching sport all day sounds amazing, but then when you actually sit down and you realise how slow it goes, it can be a bit like, okay, why did I decide to do this? But no, I mean, we'll see. Like I said, we talk about all sports here, and we'll try and fit your one in. We haven't had any criticism yet, but feel free to throw some our way if we don't show you enough love. We will take that information on board. But we will finish with the Indian Premier League, the final. I assume it's finished now.
Yeah, it's finished now. Mumbai Indians have won their 7th IPL title, and they're back-to-back for the first time in the competition history. Rohit Sharma top scores 68 for the Mumbai Indians, but the bowlers for the Indians were excellent. Kulkarni, Yadav and Bolt just going excellently, as they have for the whole tournament.
What was the score?
So Delhi 156 for 7, Mumbai 157 for 5. Also, Ishan Kishan 33 not out for the Mumbai Indians, top run scorer for the Mumbai Indians in the tournament. He definitely should be playing for India in the World Cup next year, in my opinion.
It has been a great tournament. I think they want to start the next one just normal time, don't they? So it would be in March.
March, yeah.
So a quick turnaround. And I know that England have a tour in South Africa, don't they?
Yep,
in like 2 weeks.
England down South Africa.
So that they have to quarantine in like the next few days. I feel like cricket as a whole is really going to suffer from this kind of bubble environment because with test matches...
we found out how hard it was during the summer with the West Indies and Pakistan. Players having to stay in a bubble for, I think, 3 months in total. It must have been hard for them. Yeah,
I think sports with quick turnarounds, like basketball as well, when they had to stay in the bubble for, so the Lakers and Miami Heat would have been...
They were there for months, weren't they?
Yeah,
it's quite hard, really, isn't it?
About 3 months, was it?
Yeah, away from their families and stuff. I mean, obviously they got, FaceTime, whatever, so, but...
I think I speak for everyone when I say let's hope we have a vaccine ASAP and just get crowds back.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we need normality back with sport.
I just miss it.
Because at the start it was like, okay, we don't mind seeing it behind closed doors. It's just great to have it back. But now it's like,
we need crowds back.
How much I would have loved to have been in Cardiff on a Friday night when Bristol City beat Cardiff City 1-0.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah.
Just had to get that in. Sorry.
Yeah, we'll wrap this up. We'll quickly wrap it up about Bristol City. It's going pretty well, isn't it, this season?
It's been a Bristol City season. We are, in a nicer way, we are absolutely housing every match. One shot on target, 1-0 win. Defending with our hearts, with Dan Bentley in goal, we're fine.
Could you haste your way to the playoffs? Or?
Oh no, not a chance in my opinion.
Keep the faith, man.
Oh, I'm very pessimistic about us. This season, in three of our matches this season, we've had 1 shot or less on target.
Oh, fair enough. Well,
Well, I think that just about does it. It flies by, doesn't it? This
It does.
you know,
yeah, it feels like we've been here for 5 minutes.
it's always a pleasure. It's always a pleasure, gentlemen, to
always
talk
fun.
sport with you on the Business End podcast. That was episode 4. My thanks to Liam Hale, Matt Daly, Rowan Lee, Jake Alvarez, and Drake, who is still asleep. Well, hopefully this sounds good and all that because he hasn't been able to tell us. So, yes, if you're listening to this, then that probably means that we did all right. Yeah, fellas, thank you very much once again. Thank you all for listening, and we'll hopefully see you next time.
Thank you very much.
Farewell.
Bye-bye.
Cheers.
Cheers, guys.
Right.